Welcome back everyone. Time to do another camera comparison, this time between the iPhone 12 Pro Max and the iPhone 11. And what's very interesting is Apple is still selling the iPhone 11 brand new. So I will tell you, if you don't really care too much about camera quality, first of all, the iPhone 12 Pro Max camera quality is great, but the iPhone 11s is still perfectly fine for a lot of people. And I'll be the first one to tell you, like, if you don't need the latest and greatest, getting an iPhone 11 is going to do you justice and it's going to be perfectly fine. Now you have pretty much the same camera setups, except you do have that telephoto lens on the iPhone 12 Pro Max as well as that LiDAR sensor, so definitely keep that in mind. That phone is definitely going to be a much better performing phone, not only in terms of the camera, but definitely in terms of the camera in this comparison. Both can do 4K at 60 on the front and the back as well. Now for the remainder of this video, the iPhone 12 Pro Max photos and videos will be on the right, the iPhone 11 photos and videos will be on the left, and even starting off with this first photo, immediately I don't really see too many crazy differences. You can see both of them did a pretty good job. One little minor thing that I do want to note is that if you look at the iPhone 12 Pro Max photo, especially if you look at like this little section right here and pretty much all around the cube, you can see that it does look a little bit more white and a little bit brighter overall than the iPhone 11 photo. You can kind of see that it does look a little bit more dull, a little bit more dark. So it's a little minor thing. It's not a big deal, but that's definitely one thing that I noticed. If you look on the sides here, again, not too much of a difference. You know, you kind of see the same thing going on, but definitely I was able to see that overall the color definitely looks far better on the iPhone 12 Pro Max side than on the iPhone 11 side for sure. Now on this next photo, it was taken in pretty bad lighting, definitely not the best if this photo wants to change, and I wasn't able to see a crazy amount difference, but once you kind of start zooming in, you can kind of see that the iPhone 11 did, I think, a decent job at actually brightening over the whole entire photo. I think the 12 Pro Max photo looks pretty good too, and I don't know if there's one that's necessarily the best one. Both these photos are pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie, but if I go ahead and kind of try to focus in on like this little area right here, you might be able to see that there's still not really that big of a difference. They seem kind of the same. I think there's less noise overall on the 12 Pro Max series, and that's something that I've seen with the whole entire 12 series, including the 12 mini. It does a better job at kind of reducing the amount of noise. Even if you look at this photo, you can still see there's a lot of noise on the iPhone 11 photo. And this was taken in pretty bad lighting condition too, so that one I'll probably give to the iPhone 12 Pro Max as well. Now this next one, again, really bad lighting condition as well, and I don't think many people are going to be taking photos like this, but for this color's sake, if you can look right here, you can see that on the 12 Pro Max very subtly looks a little bit darker than the iPhone 11 photo. If you look at the whiteness color, it looks a little bit more brighter as well on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. And even if you look at this little rod thing, again, you can see that the iPhone 12 Pro Max did a better job of lightening and kind of brightening over that whole entire rod, where the iPhone 11 kind of kept that in a little bit more dark. Again, and this is more of like a niched photo, but I'm pretty sure not everyone is taking photos in perfect lighting conditions every single time. So definitely for this one, I'll give it to the 12 Pro Max. Now it's the next photo, again, horrible lighting condition, but I just wanted to see how both interpreted, and again, immediately, I'm able to kind of see that the iPhone 11 photo looks a little bit more, I don't know, maybe a little bit more noise going on it. I think the 12 Pro Max did a better job at kind of keeping the overall thing a little more colored, and this was really bad lighting. There was like direct sunlight on the lens. I like how the iPhone 11 kind of showed this little textile portion, but I think the 12 Pro Max did a better job at kind of keeping that overall photo, I think, more in focus than not. Now this next photo was actually taken outside, and you can see immediately, I didn't really notice too many differences right out the gate, but one little minor thing was that if you look at the 12 Pro Max photo and I let these autofocus by themselves, you can see that the iPhone 11 was actually able to focus in immediately, just right on the spot on the iPhone 11. With the 12 Pro Max, I don't really know what it was focusing on. Maybe it was focusing on this little portion, and I'm not really too sure. It has to be this portion because this little tree trunk thing is also out of focus. So I don't know what was going on here, but definitely for sure, I think the iPhone 12 Pro Max didn't quite compete with the iPhone 11. I mean, even if we look at this little portion right here, you can kind of see again that because the 12 Pro Max didn't focus in on the right spot, it didn't necessarily match up everything else with it. But I will give, one little advantage for the iPhone 12 Pro Max, and that's the reduction of the noise. If you go kind of zoom into the same portion, you can kind of see that the iPhone 12 Pro Max photo has overall less noise than the iPhone 11. I mean, you can see this little portion right here. On the iPhone 12 Pro Max, you can look at any portion, compare it. There seems to be more noise overall on the iPhone 11 portion than on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, but I will give it to the iPhone 11 for focusing in exactly where I wanted to focus in on, what the 12 Pro Max actually did not. So that's a pretty big thing there. Now this next photo, Actually, not that many differences here either. Again, this was indoor lighting of the PlayStation 5 controller, and I don't really see too many differences here. I've looked at it time and time again, and I think the 12 Pro Max did a good job at, again, smoothing out the photo and making it seem a little bit more, I guess, bright. I don't know what the correct term is, not yellow, but like a little bit warmer, which I do like sometimes. If you look at this little thing right here, you can kind of see again, I think personally that the PlayStation 5 controller looks like there's a little bit more, I guess, texture going on with this specific photo than this one. This one seems a little bit more darker to me, and I kind of like how the iPhone 12 Pro Max made it a little bit lighter, especially when you kind of zoom out, but both of them did a really good job, I think, and the lighting wasn't crazy good in this specific photo either, so that was pretty interesting. Now, this photo was horrible lighting, and I just wanted to see how both of them kind of did it, and you can see again, I guess the iPhone 12 Pro Max did a good job too, but again, you can kind of see the same thing. If you look at this little portion of the cube right here, you can see that it's out of focus, where the iPhone 11 actually was able to keep that little portion in focus. So what this means to me is that the 12 Pro Max has kind of an issue focusing in on certain objects, especially when you have a foreground option. It just kind of focuses in on something else, so I'm not really too sure what it's focusing in on, but for sure right here, you can definitely see that the 12 Pro Max did not focus in on the right spot, where the iPhone 11 was able to focus in on the right spot. So that's something I will have to do a little bit more testing on, but that's very, very surprising to me. And this next photo was another outdoor taken photo, or outdoor photo that was taken. And again, I don't really see too many crazy differences from a distance, but when you zoom in, that's when you start to see a few subtle differences. Now, I think I focused in on this little portion or something by accident, but still you can kind of see how both phones interpreted the colors. And these are some of my favorite photos to take because it shows like, yeah, this is what this phone was kind of, interpreting for the red color, and this is what this phone was taking. I don't think there's a right or wrong. I do think that in real life, the 12 Pro Max's photo is more accurate into real life. With the iPhone 11's photo, I think did a good job too. I don't think one was way better than the other one, but the 12 Pro Max I think did a better job in this specific photo as well. Now this next one was very interesting to me because it was just a photo of the sky, and you can see even here how both phones interpreted both colors of the sky. Now both phones, obviously clouds were moving and all that stuff, but I'd probably give the edge again to the 12 Pro Max and making it look a little bit better. But even if one doesn't look like the winner, I don't know if one is way better than the other one, but I'm very interested in these type of things where dark colors like this, how both phones kind of interpreted it. So I don't think there's a winner there. Now this next one was taken in night mode, believe it or not. This was horrible lighting condition. This was completely bad. And you can see that, again, as I said before, the 12 series, all the iPhone 12 series did a much better job at actually hitting the amount of detail for every single photo. So when you look at the edge of this and you look at the edge of the 12 Pro Max photo box, you can see that the edge detection is much better on the iPhone 12 Pro Max than on the iPhone 11. And you can look at any single edge. I mean, even here, I took them at the same time with the same lighting condition, and look at how much better the 12 Pro Max photo looks. Even if I zoom into this little portion right here, and I zoom into this little portion, which may be the best option of the box, you can see that every single thing of the night mode option for the iPhone 11 just does not look as good as the 12 Pro Max. And I even remember, I think the 12 Pro Max took less time to take the photo as well, which is another thing. So definitely you're getting a much better looking photo from the iPhone 12 Pro Max than on the iPhone 11 when it comes down to night mode. And this was also a really, really horrible lighting condition photo. And I don't really see too many differences actually. I was expecting to see a bigger difference. I don't really see that, which is really funny. So when it comes down to this type of portion of the test, I think lower lighting condition photos will probably end up looking better on the 12 Pro Max. Even here, very subtle differences, but you can see that the iPhone 12 Pro Max photo right here looks a little bit more brighter, which is good. The iPhone 11 looks a little bit more darkened, which isn't my favorite thing to say or do, but that's kind of a one little difference right there. Now here is a very interesting thing. I stood from the same exact distance from both, and I zoomed in as much as I could to a Rubik's Cube that was on the floor, and look at how much more you're able to zoom in on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. With that telephoto lens, you're going to be able to zoom in a lot more. So imagine if you're at a concert or something, you're going to be able to zoom in a lot more into a photo of the 12 Pro Max than on the iPhone 11. And I did the same thing with the ultrawide sensor as well. And again, you can see both can zoom out about the same distance. This was using the ultrawide sensor, so not a ginormous difference between both. So that's a pretty decent thing to note as well. So I didn't really notice too many differences here, but for sure, the 12 Pro Max photo actually looks a little bit better. I feel like the controller looks a little bit brighter. So even with that ultrawide sensor, I feel like you're getting a better ultrawide sensor from the iPhone 12 Pro Max than on the iPhone 11. And I think that was the last photo. And I did do a video between these two, so I'll go ahead and post that on the screen now. And again, you can kind of see like the same thing going on. I don't really notice too many differences in the video category too much. I feel like outdoor and indoor and all that stuff is going to be about the same, but I feel like when you get into the lower lighting condition videos and photos, that's when you start to see the bigger differences. So you can see between these two videos, not really a crazy big difference, but still subtly, if you kind of focus in on a few key areas, you might be able to see that the 12 Pro Max was able to do a better job at kind of, evening out the colors and shifting from one color to the other than the iPhone 11. So to kind of sum up this video and to answer the question, which specific phone has a better camera? Well, for sure, it's a no-brainer. The 12 Pro Max 100% does have the better camera setup for sure. You're getting that ultra-wide sensor and the telephoto lens. On the iPhone 11, you're only getting that ultra-wide sensor and that wide-angle lens. You're getting a much more capable camera from the iPhone 12 Pro Max. But, in terms of the everything else, I mean, there's a lot of similarities. The video quality between both phones are great. If you're not planning on, filming crazy cool videos or photos or anything like that, and if you're not planning on using your phone as like some like cinema quality movie maker thing, then you're going to be perfectly fine with either one of these phones. I don't think one phone is going to do you way better than the other one in terms of that, but definitely when it comes down to just taking the best quality photos with the least amount of effort, then upgrading your phone every year to the next generation of iPhones will definitely get you there. But I still think the iPhone 11 for the time being, and from all the photos that I've taken, and I've done tons of camera comparisons throughout my lifetime, I can definitely tell you the iPhone 11's camera is still more than enough for a lot of people. If you're just making Snapchats and even filming YouTube videos and TikToks and stuff like that, you're going to be perfectly fine with the iPhone 11. But I still think if you have the money, going for the 12 Pro Max will definitely, give you a better experience overall than the iPhone 11 in terms of the camera quality. So that really pretty much covers it up. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count. It's going to be so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.